just because we're connected at Canisius, I mean, just going back to the Halloween party through Lobanob, I mean, those parties used to be out of control. I'm saying hundreds of people, the floor caving in like this, just waiting for it to go through. Like,
I'm glad you brought this up because we've had one other person. We actually had a member of 197 on the podcast before. I'm not going to say his name because he didn't really want to address a lot of that stuff because of his current role. So we kind of avoided it. But I'm glad that you brought this up because people almost don't believe me when I tell them like how people are like, oh, it was a college party. There was just something about that house that sent people on another level. It was every Friday night like clockwork.
Yep.
We would have a Friday night game at home, and we would be driving back to the house from our game, and there would already be people walking down the
lined up
walking down the street to get into the house. We weren't even back from the game yet. And it was like, we used to joke about it that somebody had a group message with all of Canisius and would send the come now text because it was instant. We would get home. I didn't live there at the time. I was a freshman, so I was living in the dorms. But I would kind of go right there, and they would kind of have to hold people off so that they could like shower and change after hockey before their house turned into just a wasteland of
people would just like line up on the
lined
sidewalk.
There would be time. I'm not kidding. We would be driving down the street on our way home from the games, and there would be crowds of people just flocking towards this house. Like they knew it was like clockwork every Friday. Boom.
And people wanted to get in so bad. And like I remember Ryan Logar, him and I think Justin Durkee stood out front and was acting like the bouncers with a bat, and like people who wanted to get in, he said it was like $5-10 a person, $10 a person. If you're not paying, get the fuck out. And he was making money.
And it got to that point because there would be nights where you physically couldn't fit any more people in that house. To the point where most of the people that lived in that house would end up downstairs, like, because they would lock the downstairs doors, right? And the parties would always be upstairs. And you would kind of hide out downstairs because there was just absolute mayhem going on upstairs. And you would sit downstairs and watch the floor bounce. I remember there was times where people would actually run out the door screaming because they thought that the floor was coming down. But no, it was just Fire Burning by Sean Kingston was on. And the place was just fucking rocking. That song would always have the place rocking. And then from October through January, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey would just turn people into madmen. And it would be like
used to set up like tables and furnitures in like the corners of the room, and like that's who people who live there, that would be the VIP because you're standing up and everyone's dancing in the middle. So you're just standing on top of couches, just punching the ceiling.
Yeah, we called it the stage. It was
going nuts.
It was probably some of the most fun times in my life, and I try to explain it to people at Canisius now, and they're like, there's just no fucking way that ever happened.
Just because everyone that was there is some bad men.
People bought in for whatever reason to like, this house is going to throw great parties every weekend, and it went the entire year. And it wasn't the people that lived there necessarily, because when they moved a year later out of that house, parties were never the same. It was that house. It was just something about it that everybody... I remember, and I would have so much... There was days... I've been in that house. I've heard a Fuck Matt Canada chant in that house. Like, people would be chanting stuff, throwing beers. There was so little room that people would be on the kitchen counters, but the cabinets would hang out over the counters, right? So you couldn't... There was very little standing room to the point where they'd be hanging on to the top of the cabinets so they could stand on the counters just so they could pretty much move freely.
Need some air.
It would be, it'd be 130 degrees Kelvin. Is that hot?
Yeah, that's hotter.
Yeah. And it would be that people would be out in the balcony in the dead of winter just because it would be so hot inside. And it was almost like I don't know if this is a good thing to say, but there'd be so many people there that the police would come and kind of shine their light on the house, and everybody would come in off the balcony, and then they just leave. And then like an hour, like like from probably once 2 a.m. hit till like, every 45 minutes to an hour, they kind of just come by and be like, hey, like stay inside to limit the noise. But they just kind of let it happen, and it will probably go down. That house should go down in history. Oh. I know that they've remodeled it since then.
Really?
But yeah.
Wow.
Thank God. They probably needed it.
I can picture every corner of that house. And I didn't even live in it. I just lived on the couch.
But that's exactly like nobody. Even people that didn't live there pretty much lived there.
Yeah.
Like
I was a cat there.
It was a constant gathering. There was always somebody watching sports. There was a front room. Have you ever seen a house where it looks like they would have a front balcony, but they kind of turn it into a sunroom, like they just frame it in and it's all windows? Yeah. And there was just like a GameCube set up in there, and people would be playing, what was that game?
Mario Kart.
Yeah,
NFL. Beer Cario.
Yeah, Beerio Kart.
NFL Streets.
But NFL Streets. People would play NFL Streets 24 hours a day in that room, I'm pretty sure. There was just always people there, always something going on, almost always a game of beer pong going on.
And it's in the middle of the hood. They got robbed mad time.
Yeah, there was nights where
we were blacked out, and they came in, and I'm sleeping on the couch, Durkee's on the ground, and they came in with a wrench, unscrewed the TV, stole the laptops. There was a footprint right next to Durkee on the pillow or something, like a muddy footprint of the guy coming and robbing. And I think they walked into someone's room, and then they said, "Oh fuck," and ran out.
Yeah, it was Ryan's. I remember Ryan is the only person.
So people would just come in while everybody's there, just
knew.
Passed out. They knew.
They knew we blacked out.
The people that
just wait a couple hours. These guys are going to be incapacitated.
Yeah. It was.
Dude, there's so many people in there. No. Just walk.
It didn't matter. It was, and I remember too. I wasn't there that night, but it was like a 55-inch TV they walked out with that night.
Yeah. You said they unscrewed the TV from the wall.
Because they left the wrench there on the table.
A PlayStation.
Oh, they went nuts.
And the guys that lived there took a bed sheet and spray painted on it, like, please bring our TV back, and hung it on their balcony for just about the rest of the year. And that house, that house was an all-timer. It's a good thing that those guys don't live there anymore, because
well, it sounds like right place, right time.
It was a perfect storm.
We should do like a 30 for 30.
It was. If we had everyone hear those stories.
That would
be bad. We need to have a fire one night. Get everyone together.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even think you want some of that shit documented. Yeah, but it was just.
But even it sounds like even some of the stuff that's still okay to say would be worth it. You know what I mean? Would be insane enough.
And we don't like. It was just, people have jobs now and crap, but those it was just. It was the closest that we'll probably ever get to going to like a real like big college. Like there was just constant fun. You could walk in the house at any time and there'd be somebody there willing to do whatever you wanted to do.
And I didn't even go there either.
Yeah,
I went to Buff State.
Yeah, it was wow.
It was great.
R.I.P. to that house. I'm glad that it's still standing because it is kind of a historic landmark. It's funny that you say 30 for 30 because the people that live there often refer to it as the movie set. Like, they can't even believe that it was real the whole year that they lived there. It was kind of like a fake year.
I wonder if they redid everything. The list in the basement.
Oh, that list might still be there. I don't know. I mean, but then they got a ping pong table, and the ping pong table there was nights where we were playing dodgeball in the basement, and we're talking about like a small Buffalo City basement. The ceilings are like barely 6 foot, and just a bunch of grown men just chucking dodgeballs at each other in the basement. It was
good. Yeah, great times.
Too many times to talk about.